All right. Players in those who were involved in fighting in the struggle for democracy. You hear their voices here and there telling you how it went. It wasn't an easy one at that time, especially under the military rule. Now, I still have Asukwa James in the house in here. Now, Asukwa, he was talking about the issue of the constitution. A lot of persons we have spoken to at one time said the best constitution we have had all the while, just like we make reference to the 1993 election as being the best election we've had, the best constitution we've had so far was the 1963 Republican Constitution that gave room for regional government. And you know, and all of that. And then he also recognized the federal form or system of government at that time. Do you think this is where the bigger challenge or the biggest challenge of the new democracy we have, is that where it lies?
Yeah, of course, it has to be the constitution, because the constitution that would tailor everything governance into a paper and everybody will respect and regard. Now, just like you're saying, is between 1960 and 1963 constitution. And the Republican Constitution was because it was better because it's an offshoot. That was when we moved away from the parliamentary system, you know, and we now moved into regional system, you know. And that is where we are supposed to be, because we need a people and a Nigerian constitution. If we take the 1963 constitution, for instance, and we bring it to the table, we'll be able to add 1 and 2 to it and involve
and make
people
it relevant
to us
in the 21st century.
To the 21st century, yes, exactly. Because that is what we need now. Right now, what we are using is a constitution that was just given to us.
Imposed.
Imposed on us by the military, and we are just trying to patch it, you know. But if we have the 1963 constitution, whereby all regions had their own constitution inside the 1963 constitution, because that was when we had the likes of Abiola. Abiola could say, okay, in my own region, I want free education for my people. And in the north, they took their own constitution and said, okay, fine. Inside this constitution, we'll be able to, you know, go into agric, the east, the same, go into industrialization and things like that. We need that kind of constitution that we are talking about, the 6 geopolitical zones, whereby those in the south-south will say, okay, in the south-south, we'll deal with what is called our oil, you know, with the oil, and we'll give the central government whatever we need. But in that constitution,
that was the resource control issue that brought a lot of controversy at that time.
But the thing is, let me tell you, Mike, just like I told you, the mistakes that we did in the past will definitely haunt us in the future. Because we refuse to do those things that were in the past, trying to make sure that we'll go back to the resource control, which is where the 1963 Constitution, you know, actually dealt with. Have your constitution, have your resources, deal with your resources, grow your resources, and grow with it. Not just to grow with your resources.
And own it.
And take care of your people. Then at the central level, the central will now be the one to be in charge of the defense of the entire country. You know, which is how they are.
But don't state governments, because the point there is we don't have regional government or geopolitical government as it is right now. Governors are in that, akin to or likened to that regional you know, nomenclature. Don't states have the powers to do some of these things, especially although we know that things that are on the exclusive legislative list, they don't have the powers over that. But issues like the ones they have on the concurrent list, at least they can do a lot of things. Agriculture, for instance.
Let me tell you, okay, you're saying agriculture. Do you know that even education, for instance, that is supposed to be for the state, completely for the state, the federal government still has inputs. And it's not supposed to, because if the federal government is still telling states how to run education, then it means that there will be some people that will not even go to school.
Okay.
You know? So if education is given, or even let's even use roads, for instance. Recently, the president actually gave monies to some states for fixing federal roads in the past.
Yes.
You know, originally, if a road passes your state,
That's your road.
it's your road. You know, somebody cannot be in Abuja, for instance, and now say, "Oh, I own that road." Because if I'm the president, I can easily say, "Okay, because I own that road, I can now start taking tolls."
It's okay. Well, we'll come back. We'll come back to this discussion and part of it. All right. Now, Senator Anthony Adefuye was a political advisor to MK Abiola and a senator in the Third Republic who he was involved in the struggle for June 12 and actualization of democracy in Nigeria. In an exclusive interview with Ademola Lawrence, he highlighted why ethnicity and tribalism is not helping in the sustenance of democracy.
We know all the story about June 12 and how it all came to be. And then last year, President Muhammadu Buhari declared that June 12 would be Democracy Day. All of those stories we know. But now, at this junction, how do we sustain the democracy that we have now?
The world does not tolerate military autocracy anymore, and therefore we might be able to sustain democracy we have now. Now, what we need to do is to improve the system, is to improve our election process, is to ensure that everybody participated, is to ensure that we remove nepotism, is to ensure that we remove tribalism, that we allow honest people to rule the country. Once we get that, we are on course. Have you ever had problem dealing with an Igbo man? Have you ever had problem dealing with an Hausa man? Have you ever had a problem dealing with an Fulani man in your day-to-day activity? No. We all work together. It is when people are struggling for power that they bring in tribalism, nepotism. Oh, it's because he's Igbo, it's because he's Hausa, it's because he's Yoruba, it's because he's that. As I said earlier, that will disappear when we all become educated. People go back to their regions and incite one tribal against the other. It is not true. Let me tell you the case of the Almajiris now. People are saying Almajiris are entering Lagos, and the same way Almajiris are entering Lagos is the same way our own people too, the Yoruba, the Igbo, are entering Kano, Sokoto. The same way these Almajiris are coming in. The same way our own people who were in Kano, who were trapped here, are finding their way back. The same way Igbos who were trapped in Enugu are finding their way back. Because we have control of the media, Almajiri today. You imagine, people are saying drive the Almajiris away. If the Hausa people drive away the Yorubas or the Igbos from the north, what do you think will happen? The last time I was reading, the East stopped the Almajiris from entering somewhere in Imo. Supposing the northern people now say, let all the Igbos go.